Alright, so today just a quick video. I'm going to be talking about a couple things. The first are the rumors of Xbox going third party. And everybody is speculating, everybody is guessing. Fans are upset because it's been leaked throughout the industry. Take it with a grain of salt. Wait until next week. Microsoft is going to talk about what they're doing. Honestly, what I think is going to happen, Microsoft is going to announce that they are putting games onto third-party platforms. PlayStation 5, Nintendo, Switch 2 probably. And truthfully, I don't see that as a big, huge deal if they can maintain exclusives that knock it out of the park on the Xbox. So we'll see. I'll do another video later on about that. And after they give their presentation, tell what's going on, I'll talk about that. So hopefully they don't fall off the cliff. It feels like a car that's, getting close to the edge of the cliff and you're like, ah! And we'll see what happens. See if they can correct it. And so I will update that maybe next week or something. So, because next week is the show where they're going to talk about that. But today I want to talk about something cool. So, I've talked about Bing points before, and they have cut down the points drastically on it. And then they have rearranged and switched them to where they're more geared towards Game Pass, which, it's good and bad. The big thing that they screwed up was they made it to where you could only do 3 searches every 15 minutes, which doesn't make sense. That would mean you would have to sit there the entire day, pretty much waiting for that 15 minutes to get your next 3 searches. And so it was just a way for them to cut back on how much they give, which I wish they would have just cut back on how much they give. Made them 1 point each or whatever. But it's made a lot of people upset. And so that's why there is a lot of speculation about the gaming thing, because they screwed up Bing points, they're going to screw up Xbox, and I don't think they will. I think it's going to be okay, but we'll see. But what I wanted to talk about today was the last thing I've gotten with my Bing points. And you'll remember a while back I picked up the Neo Geo Mini. And I love this. It's like a little arcade unit. And it shows, a little joystick here and the 4 buttons. It has 40 of the Neo Geo games. Now you remember the Neo Geo, if you remember back in the arcade days, they were different machines because they were actually cartridge-based machines. Cartridges were big, and you could buy the cartridges from the company and put it into your unit that you had in your arcade. Then they released a home system that I never knew anybody that had one because they were expensive. But they had some pretty cool games on it. And so I just want to talk about something I got for it, because I got this about 2 years ago. And I'm actually pleased with it. It has a nice screen, decent sound. It also has a mini HDMI, and so you can plug this into a TV and play it. Unfortunately, that means you still have to use the joystick and the buttons to play it on the screen, but then they made it to where you can plug in a controller for it. So what I finally got, I used my Bing points that it's taken me forever to save them up, but I got the Neo Geo controller. And I like it. It is just like the old Neo Geo controllers, because they did release a system. And it just shows you how far controllers have come, because this is very basic. And this isn't even Super Nintendo level, because it has the 4 buttons, start and select, and then the stick or the D-pad, whatever, it's not a D-pad, but it's a stick, but there's no shoulder buttons. So even the Super Nintendo had shoulder buttons. But they recreated this and released it, and they're actually really solid. I was really surprised. So this is actually a very solid controller. and it works really well. So I'm very pleased with that. So let's just talk about a few of the games that I really like for the system. So I think right off, you got to remember that Neo Geo did a lot of releasing the same game multiple times with just additions. Kind of like Metal Slug 1 through 5, and then Metal Slug X. There was just a lot of Metal Slugs, and things they're fun. They are a good shooter. They're just a fun game. So I love the Metal Slug games. And then you'll see as this is scrolling through, you can see the different games. There was a game that used to be at the arcade called Crossed Swords. And it was cool because you would be going into different environments, and it gave a behind your character view. And you had your sword or whatever weapon it is you had a shield, and you just had to combat creatures as they came. And I remember seeing that and I was like, that is such a cool game. And so it's cool because that's on this, and I love that. So that game just reminds me of being in the old arcade, and I remember walking up to it. I loved it. I would play it a bit. It was a little bit harder, but so I would waste some quarters on it. But it was fun, and the graphics were good. For the time, the graphics were great. Another game that's really cool was Samurai Showdown. Now they've released Samurai Showdown on different consoles and different systems, but the Neo Geo ones were always really good. And they were popular in the arcades when I worked at Aladdin's Castle. That was actually a pretty popular game, the Samurai Showdown. But they were very big on fighting games, so there are a lot of like Art of Fighting, Fatal Fury, King of Fighters. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different King of Fighters games on here, and so they were very heavy with fighting games. But they had some really cool games that I liked. The Football Frenzy, that was fun. They had a golf game that was actually pretty decent. And what's cool is they include these on. There are 40 games, and they include a really good variety. And so I really like it. The King of Monsters is actually a really cool game. It's like a fighting game where you put in a city, think Rampage, but a little more freedom of movement. And so, but you fight monsters against each other in a city. It's a really cool game. So I do love this Neo Geo Mini. I really do like it. And I love how you can hook it up to your TV. It has a decent screen, and it controls well just if you play it on here. But you can hook it up to your TV, and it works really well. And if you have the controller, it's just like having a system. So I think they did a really good job on this. They've released another version of this, and it's really getting dogged on the internet. But for this one, this is the first one, and I really like it. So that was just a quick video about what I got. So this is my controller. So normally they are about $30, and I was able to get this entirely with Bing points turned into Amazon money. And so, I think it's a great little controller. It's solid. It actually feels heavy. I like that. And so it's just pretty cool. So anyway, that's kind of the latest thing that I bought with my Bing points. And I thought I would make a video out of that. Maybe next time I'll get back to an actual game, and maybe I'll do another random game. I thought that was kind of fun. And so whatever it is, I'll see you next time. Bye.